Hi everyone, happy Friday. I was literally just about to say to Patrick, I think I'm realizing this is the third time in a row I'm wearing something red on Friday. It's just don't
You won't
know
be
what.
shocked that I'm wearing a black t-shirt. Because if you look at all
No.
19 episodes, I'm in
Oh
a
my
black
God.
t-shirt. So
Yeah. I mean, I do have other options, just so you guys know. I do have other options
I
in my
don't.
wardrobe. Oh my God. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Very excited to be back for episode 20. Wow, well, I don't know if it's an anniversary thing.
But
Let's just say
it's,
so. Let's just say so.
yeah.
We were just chatting quickly, Patrick and we were talking about how, as usual, it was a very busy week, and how actually our own systems that we've sort of built over the years and how we manage our own state, our own wellness, have been really supporting us in the last, well, since we've been working on this, frankly. But especially in times where a lot of balls are in the air and a lot of things are happening. And I think as a founder, it can become very quickly very overwhelming. You find yourself working 18-hour days. And the for me and for Patrick, we both found that we have routines and things that we are doing every single day, week, that have really helped us to maintain sanity and, in fact, look at things very positively throughout and just being able to show up as our best selves. And that often doesn't mean working more. So, what we thought we could do today maybe is just share with you how both of us are managing our days, and hopefully that will be beneficial to you to learn and maybe take something on board to try into your own in your own routine. So,
Yeah.
Patrick, how are you today managing your stress levels, and
Yeah.
how do you manage work with life?
Yeah. And to add to that thought as well, Annie and I are fortunate to be in a situation where we're co-founders together and we go
Yeah.
through the journey together. As an individual founder of a business, I think this is could even be more critical to realize this if you're founding a business by yourself or working a lot by yourself, because what works well for Annie and I is that we support each other's different processes, and Annie and I have very different lives, and we have different ways of creating this balance within our lives, but we have each other to not only support each other, but also kind of push each other sometimes to do some of this balance focus. And so I actually feel very fortunate, Annie, that you and I can do that for each other as co-founders, but as single founders, I think it's even more important sometimes to take a minute and figure out how to make this work for you. But for me personally, uh, as you know, one of the reasons why Annie and I have been building this company is because we started at a place of having a lot of passion around being dog parents. And our time that we spend with our dogs in the mornings and in the evenings is really, and during the day as well, is really critical, not only for us to really think about the business, but also for us to just have a moment to think. And the time with Cherry, my dog's name is Cherry, the time that I have with Cherry is really valuable to me, especially in the mornings. It's the first thing that I do in the morning, and it's usually the last thing I do in the evening. But the other thing is, I've been a swimmer for all of my life, and for me, the best time to swim is midday. Now, when you're building a company, sometimes midday is not really the best option. Maybe you have meetings, maybe there are things going on, but for me, 10 o'clock or 10:30 in the morning is the best schedule for me to swim. And so I make it a priority in my day to take that time, to give that time not only to myself for health reasons, but there are many times that Annie and I have a few hours of meetings before that, and I'll say, okay, let's stop here and let's pause here, because I'm going to take the time while I'm swimming to really think about what we just talked about and what we need to come back to in the afternoon. And that hour and a half of swimming time when I'm by myself and I'm thinking and I don't have the noise of life, I just have the noise of the water while I'm swimming, really helps me process my thoughts and really helps me um, sometimes get out of a state that could be a stressful moment, or where I feel stuck, or where I feel like I just need to reset. Allowing myself the time during the day to be able to do that really helps me. And Annie, you've been very supportive of that as well, of saying, look, go swim, go take that time, think through it. We'll come back to it in a couple of hours. We'll come back to it this afternoon or even tomorrow. But the time that I give myself to be able to really think through that, and also to not feel guilt around that. And we should never feel guilt around providing the time to really not only be healthy, but also to give ourselves a minute to be able to think and process has been very helpful, because founding a company can be inundating and it can be all consuming. And so those are my two of my daily routines that really help with me. And you, Annie, have been very supportive of those, and I appreciate that. So how about you? I know you have quite a few as well.
Yes, I do. And my most of my routines are around the morning and the evening. So my morning routine has developed over the years, and I think right now I have it down to a T, where I literally will get upset if somebody tries to disrupt my morning, because between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. I have such a clear way of being that by the time 9 a.m. hits, really nothing can happen to me. Nothing will ever get me out of a beautiful in a beautiful place and being able to give my best to what we're doing here. So what I do is so my alarm goes off at 6. I do go to bed very early, I will say that. So if you think 6 is early, I also am going to bed very early. So just so you know. But I get up at 6, and I literally, after brushing my teeth, I basically have a short meditation that I do, just to get myself into a state of gratitude and a state of feeling really good about what I'm building, about who I am, and also acknowledging, what I already have, which I think it's very easy to get your brain, oh, what's next, but you just don't stop to actually go, okay, what do I actually have already that is really exciting, that's beautiful. And I think that really helps me to be in a great mindset, for when I enter the day. And then I go work out. So I'm a morning workout person. I do that at home. I usually do HIIT training, or I go for a run. If I go for a run, I drag my dog Phoebe with me. She is not so impressed usually. Or I finish my workout and then we go for a walk. And we are out in nature for, a while, like an hour or so. And during that hour, I actually do like what I call stream of consciousness. I literally have granola on, which is our call recording software, and I literally just talk to myself like a crazy person, but I talk to myself about anything that I can think of, whether that's related to Woofer, anything that I've been sort of thinking about, and I can't really quite sort my brain through, and I talk and think things through as I go. So that's my swimming, I guess. What Patrick
Hmm.
does for swimming is what I do when I walk. I literally walk and talk to myself and try and figure out, pull at different threads and write down, or talk down action items or things that I want to remember, like call mom, but also do try this thing at Woofer, and then also this other thing. So it's a hodgepodge of things, and then Claude helps me to, untangle all of my crazy and then put it into a day that's actually structured when I come back home. And then in the evening, I finish off with gratitude, and I practice a thing that I do where I say every evening who was kind to me and who I was kind to, because kindness for me is a really important thing. And that again puts me into a really beautiful place where I can go to bed and feel really wonderful about my day no matter what. There's always something where I can feel grateful and where I feel like I've contributed something, and someone was able to contribute back to me. And so again, this is not, I talked a lot, but this is not a long routine, but it
Mm.
completely, I think for both of us, these routines have just a general effect on how you show up in the world and how you can actually build a business. So perhaps for this week, you all can think about what is your routine, and maybe you're not as intentional. Maybe you are as intentional. And if you are, share with us what you're doing. Maybe this is helpful to us or to someone else. But otherwise, maybe just pick something for me or for Patrick, and see and try it, see if it fits, and if it helps you in your day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
thanks
yep.
for the insights, Annie. I know our patterns have really helped us, and
Yeah.
patterns evolve as well, which is a nice thing. So, I'm sure probably in a year from now we'll have some new patterns, which will be very helpful as well. But also let us know what you think, if you have any patterns that really work for you, because we're curious to find out what your patterns are too. So,
Yeah.
but
Thank you. Thank
until
you.
next time, yeah, have a
Yes.
great weekend.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.